Hi, I'm Jennifer Janisch, owner of Adored Salon and Adored Signature Hand-Tied Hair Extensions. I'm obsessed with curly hair. I cut it, style it, and extend it, and this podcast is all about my curly girl obsessions that stretch far beyond just curly hair. Hey you, it's me, Jennifer, from the Curly Girls Obsessions, Adored Salon, and Adored Signature Hand-Tied Hair Extensions. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I love personal growth, motivation. These are the things that I feed off of. I love being mentored and coached. And it's not always with actually like a person. I do it a lot through podcasts and conferences and just I'm always looking for the thing that's going to give me the light in the day. And typically I will listen to a podcast or two in the morning when I'm doing work on my computer or when I'm getting ready in the bathroom. I just like to have a great way to start out my day, and it's usually fueled by someone who has something to share that's going to benefit my day. And um it was like probably maybe a week ago, I was posting to social media, which is also something that I do for all of my businesses, the salon, the extension line, my personal page, and obviously running three pages takes a lot of time. So that's why I don't have one strictly for this podcast because I couldn't fit in a fourth social media page to promote something. So I'll promote this on all of those pages. But, anyways, I was going in and creating a reel about our extension trainings. And there's like a process that I have for creating posts for social media. And I usually decide, is it going to be a reel, which is a short form like movie? Is it going to be a post, which is just um, one frame photo? Is it going to be a carousel with multiple photos in it? Am I going to do a live where I talk like I would talk on the podcast? And so once I determine all of that, and let's just say it's a reel like it was that day, I go through, I put in the content, I put in the words that are going to be like the hook that draws you in. And then you have to add audio to the reel. You don't have to, but I like to because trending audio supposedly helps create um like it's going to speed it into the social media realm of Instagram, right? So if you choose trending audio and you hit it right, it's going to help to push that post in front of your followers and people who don't follow you so that more people follow you, right? So I'm going through this audio, and this is where I tend to get tripped up a lot because I'll be like, does that relate to the post? Do I find something within this that is like uh motivational? Is there a phrase that I used in the hook that relates to this song? Like I really probably analyze it way too much for what I'm using it for, right? And I hit so like uh there's audio, which is music, there's trending audio, there's original audio, and obviously you could tell I analyze this a lot. But anyways, I went in and I was listening to these audios and I came across this one that literally took me back in time. Do you ever have that with a song where it just transforms your mood? Like it could be, you know, a song that was really popular at a certain time frame in your life, and it's almost as if you feel like you're in that time frame at that very moment. So this audio was a remake from one of the songs in the movie Flashdance. Now, I'm definitely revealing my age here. I'm about to turn, well, I'm not about, it's a ways away. It's 8 months away. I'm going to turn 50 in August. And this movie came out in 1982, I believe, because I was 7 years old. And I think my cousin actually took me to see this movie. My cousin was a lot older than me. And well, not a lot, but like she was probably like 15 years older than me. So obviously she could drive, she could do all these things, whatever. And she would, hang out with me. And so she took me to see this movie. And honestly, like if you are my age and you've seen this movie, or if you go and watch this movie after this podcast, you're going to be like, a 7-year-old was watching this? Yes, I was 7. Um, and I think I saw a lot of things that were well beyond my age. One, because of when I was born, right? Like my generation did a lot of things way before the generations now would be doing them, right? Like there's like this funny meme on social media that's like, um, you know, this generation was the first of like the being home alone from age whatever, like, and staying out through the night, drinking out of the hose, doing this, doing that, like staying out of trouble, but and nearly getting kidnapped like 6 times before the age of 13, because there was like we were just allowed to do so much more than you would actually think we could. And I think it was the time frame in which things started like being released into the world that were not before. So there are opportunities to screw around and fuck up and hopefully not get caught were plentiful. So and in this situation, obviously, my mom had to know I was going to see this movie, probably had no idea what it was about, but her and my cousin, they are close in age. So my mom had me when she was 18. And but also when I was 7, my mom also had another child at home, like who knows, right? So anywho, I go and see this movie. And also, if you've watched this podcast from the beginning, you know that like I was obsessed with hair from an early age. Like I taught myself how to French braid when I was 4 years old because I wanted it. And my mom was like, yeah, I don't know how to do that. But my cousin was the one who was French braiding my hair all the time when I was with her, but wasn't with me all the time. So if I wanted it, I was going to have to learn how to do it because my mom was like, no, I do not do that. And so I taught myself how to French braid when I was 4. My cousin also brought me into the world of makeup. Now, my mom always got ready, always did her makeup. Her best friend called her the girl with the bag of lotions and potions. My mom's skin looks amazing to this day. And God, I feel like I had a skincare routine by the time I was 6 years old. And when I was 8, I remember no, I was 10, walking to like the local pharmacy that was like a half a mile away from my house to get like the apricot peach scrub exfoliant mask or a lip gloss that I liked. Like I always really enjoyed the world of beauty. And um, so my cousin takes me to this movie, and I'm going to get back to the fact of why I'm talking about that. And the movie, the way it starts out, is that there's this like it starts out with loud music. Well, not loud music, but you're in the movie theater. It starts out with fast music. Like I also loved dance music, and probably because I was born in like the disco era. My mom did not like disco. My mom was more of like a Rolling Stones girl. Um, you know, but I liked dance music. And so this movie starts out with, really good music. And it rolls into, like, you see, and this is all happening really quick, this uh, girl's life, right? And at first, you really don't know that she's a girl. She's a welder, and you see her in this atmosphere of, well, like, she works, I don't know if she works like on a subway line or something, but it's always dark where she's working, right? And you see her with like a heavy coat on, heavy jeans, and a welding hat, and the name on it is Alex, right? But we did know that this movie was about a girl, so you're like, okay, Alex. And Alex then picks up this welding mask, and she's gorgeous, right? She is absolutely gorgeous. It's Jennifer Beal, and she's young. And you know, like, that she's a dancer who's welding by day to afford to live on her own. She's 18 years old. And so she's a welder, doesn't have this glamorous career, but she's doing what it takes to get by and have her own place. And she actually has this really cool apartment in this movie. It's like this old loft that she rented, and it was a warehouse, and she turned it into her apartment. She's got this super cute pit bull dog, which, thank God, because she probably doesn't live in the greatest area. And you go on to see her life, right? So she loves dancing. She is a dancer. She technically is not a stripper, but she is, right? Like, she works in this bar, and she dances on stage. It is, yes, it looks like a scummy bar, like guys staring at these girls who never fully are nude, right? That bar is down the street, right? And so she dances at night because she's trying to keep her passion alive, and she's a ballerina. That was like where her passion lied. And through the movie, you see like you meet her mentor. I'm assuming she probably taught her how to dance some, but this girl had no formal dance training, right? So she's, I'm repeating myself again. She's doing what it takes to get by in her daily life. It's not necessarily what she wants to do, but she's a hard worker. She does her job well. And then at night, she's doing what she loves. On the weekends, she's going to the ballet with um, this woman who mentors her, and she meets the guy who owns the company that she welds for. He's obviously much older than her. He falls in love with her, blah, blah, blah. And you see these stories throughout this movie of the different people that she knows at the bar, right? And there's a comedian who's actually a cook. There's other dancers who um they're like there's a couple that are her age that are doing it the same way that she's doing it. And then there's this really impactful scene with this older dancer who um like explains her life and explains like that when she was young, she had this passion. And when I say she's older, like, she looks amazing. She's probably like in her mid 30s at that point, but that she had this passion when she was young. And she worked, I feel like it was like in the film industry, and she got all these awesome costumes. And then one day she just stops with these costumes and stops buying them. And it was like you saw her tell this story about how she lost the passion. And this is happening at a time where um, Jennifer Beals' character, the mentor, passes away. She's dated the guy who owns the company. He pisses her off. Um, and she's just like in a bad spot, right? She's mourning the loss of this mentor. And meanwhile, like, she really wants to try out for, I think she lives in New York, the New York Ballet. like to be in the symphony. And this is me, like I jumped ahead of where I was at the movie. My squirrel brain is totally in action right now. But so she wants to try out for this, right? And they show her going to the office to try out for to apply to get invited to try out, right? So you could see like the odds are really stacked against her, also with no formal ballet training. And she walks into this room, and it's so interesting because the woman is sitting at the desk, right? And there's probably four ballerinas in front of her, all of which are wearing smoothed hair in a tight bun, pink sweaters, white sweaters, the classic like white, like powdered face with red lips or pink lips. And she comes in, and she's wearing her work uniform, right? She's got on heavy, thick, baggy jeans, construction boots. And there's even a scene where they pan through like the ballerina slippers and the feet like pointed up, down. And then you see her dirty, worn, hard working construction boots. And then she wears like this really heavy military jacket because she doesn't even have a car. She rides her bike to and from work, right? And she's got big curly hair. Honestly, you had me at the curly hair. But the fact that she stands out and looks different from all these other girls, I think it also caught me at age 7 because even then, I've always had curly hair, right? And I'll never forget Um, my friend Laura, who has stick straight hair at the time, um, Farrah Fawcett was like, she had these layers in her hair, right? And they looked like, we called it feathered hair. And Laura got her hair cut feathered, and I got my hair cut feathered, and Laura's hair was perfectly like smoothed back in these layers. All she had to do was get out of the shower, comb her hair into place. It looked perfect. I got it, and I looked like Bozo the fucking clown. My hair just got fuller because of these layers, and like it looked like I had like earmuffs on the side because now my sides were cut off. Oh my gosh, I was so depressed. I'll never forget being in like 3rd grade, walking to the bus with her in the morning, staring at her and her hair, and stopping back to my house to get a brush because I was convinced if I brushed my hair enough, I would get those feathers just like Laura. Needless to say, it never happened, right? It never happened. So here I am watching her and seeing how different she is, right? And the first time she walks in and she's looking and she gets so uncomfortable, she leaves. She cannot even ask for the application because she just feels like she just doesn't fit in with these girls. And honestly, she doesn't. She stands out and she looks different. And you see her running out of this place, getting on her bike and running away. And then after she leaves, I think that the boyfriend like followed her there at the time they were dating. And he talks to the woman in the office and um asks about like what she was there for. She says she's applying or whatever. And then as the story goes on, right? So that was like her being different and her then now going through this thing after her mentor has died. She's applied, she or no, she doesn't apply right away. After the mentor dies and she finds out that she's dead, she goes to her house. That's how she finds out. And they're clearing out her stuff. And you see this scene where she picks up these ballet slippers that were hers, right? And she's just holding them, holding them, holding them. She leaves, and now she's in this state of depression. Like she's sad, you see her in her apartment, whatever, and she doesn't go to dance at night. And then the time that she comes back is this situation in which she talks to the older dancer, and the dancer tells her how she had all this passion and then one day she just lost it. And Jennifer Beal is going through this same situation, right? Like she's just sad. She, doesn't know what to do. Oh, and then the other part in there, this was pretty big too. This is why she's mad at the boyfriend, is the boyfriend knew someone in the symphony and he gets she gets a letter saying that she's been invited to come and perform, and later finds out that the meeting that the boyfriend, when he followed her, he was responsible for her getting in to get the audition, right? Because he knew someone. And she was furious that he did that. She wanted to get it on her own. She didn't want someone to do it for her. And so when she's in the room talking to this dancer, and she says this to her about her passion, something must have clicked in her head where she was like, I need to go to this audition. Fuck how I got here. I need to go and show them. So then she goes into the audition. And I know like I'm speeding up, I'm jumping around, right? But like this is how I'm remembering it. She goes into the audition and she puts on her music, and the song is, again, dating myself here, Irene Cara, What a Feeling. And this was the song that came through on social media, remade by someone else, that put me back into this era of remembering this. And she starts her dance, and within the first like 30 seconds, she screws up, she falls. So she asked them if she could start again. And totally intimidating panel. Like they're all sitting behind these really like big desks. And I think there's five of them. They're in the time in the movie, it's so crazy. Like they're actually smoking while they're watching her. And she's playing the record on a record player. And so she asked them if she could start over. And she starts over and she does this dance, and you just see this girl come alive. And she starts out doing ballet, but then she ties in like all these experiences, right, of different styles of dance into this dance. And she totally wows them. Like I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it because it's such an impactful, like, ending to this movie. And you see her just feeling it fully, right? Like how many of you can say that you've had those life experiences where you 100% like doubted yourself, you thought all the odds were against you, you didn't think that you could climb the mountain, you didn't even know how you were going to start climbing the mountain, right? But it honestly, what it did take, one foot in front of the other, right? One foot in front of the other, no matter how tall it was, no matter how daunting it seemed, it just took putting one foot in front of the other, pushing past your fears, pushing past your self doubt, and becoming that person that you know you can be, and delivering on the results that you know you're capable of, right? And so she comes out running after she does it. The boyfriend's sitting there waiting with her dog with a big red bow, and he's got flowers for her, right? And the movie ends. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, that's how it ends, right? You don't really know if she got accepted, but in that moment you could tell that she doesn't even care if she got accepted. Well, I'm sure she actually cares if she got accepted, but you just know she gave it her all, she did her best, and they saw that person, right? They saw that person who was in her absolute finest moment of life. And I honestly think that at age 7, this was that first time that I saw something that made me believe that you can be so much more than what you think you really are, right? Like we put those boundaries on ourselves. We're the ones who put ourselves within that box. We're the ones who create every roadblock, every brick wall, right? And actually, you're the only person who can remove those things. It's just the way life is. Like, that's the only way that you're going to get through it. It may seem scary, it may seem daunting, but the only way to get over it is to go right through it. And this goes back to the phrase that I tell my kids all the time and the girls that I work with, like something that seems so scary and is in front of you, right? You have to look at it and walk right through it and get to the other side. Once you're on the other side of it, it's no longer scary because you totally conquered it. And that's what she did. And so at 7 years old, this movie that is really about a young girl who is doing what it takes to get by in life and have a living during the day. At night, she's doing what her passion is. Even if it's not fully her passion, she's building on her skills to get there. And you're gonna watch it. Remember, she's not a stripper because she never fully takes her clothes off. Um, and she does that to bridge the gap between where she is in that moment and time to get to the future point that she knows is going to be better, right? She takes the steps. She knows it's not an easy road. She's actually pissed when the easy road comes her way through her boyfriend. Nobody wants a job or a spot because like they needed to fill the position, right? Nobody wants like there is something to be said about getting something on your own. But I also think that the movie shows that also if you know someone and you really, really want something and they're able to help you, you may as well take the help too, right? Because everything in it's like, what's the end result? What's the end goal that's in your mind? If getting there is more important than the steps, right? Like we all know that there's those steps, and you may have a vision of what that path looks like going this way, right? Like I need to do these steps in order to get there. But sometimes that path can go like this, right? And for those of you that aren't watching, my path just turned like into a snake, like it just withered in all different directions around. And sometimes it does take help from others. Sometimes it requires something different than what you thought in the beginning. And so I hope that after everybody watches this, they go and rent Flashdance or at least just go listen to the soundtrack or the song by Irene Cara. If you love dance, there's some really good dance scenes in there. There's some crazy workout scene from her that I probably tried to reenact a million times as a kid. And it's called Maniac. I mean, the way that she can move in this is just like awe-inspiring, right? You're like, damn, that girl's got she's got the moves on her. And the end, it just makes you feel really good, really good. And I'm really grateful that as a 7-year-old kid, I got to watch this movie and I got to be inspired by it. And I'm so grateful for that trending audio to remind me of this because I don't think I ever thought about it, damn, for a really long time. I mean, yeah, I haven't thought about that movie in a long time, and that audio took me to such a good place in my heart and in my mind that it really made me think about it. I rented it again. I actually took notes on certain scenes and certain situations because it it did something, right? It taught me something. It showed me something. It was way more than what it was on the surface. So I encourage you to go and watch it, or to sit back and think of those moments that in your life you remember that were impactful, that helped create the person you are today, and the people who helped create it, right? She lost that mentor in the movie, and um, it's sad when it happens because we can all think of those people in our lives that aren't around anymore that helped form you into the person you are today. And sometimes the mentors come in dark ways, right? There's people in my life that did a lot of horrible things to me, but also helped form the person I am today and taught me what to look out for and never to repeat again. So, yeah, it just brought back a lot of memories and a lot of a lot of good thoughts in my head. So, I encourage you to do the same. Think of those things, write them down, really think on how they were. And thank you for listening today. I hope that you took something away from this. I hope that it inspired you to step out of the box that you're struggling with today and figure out the steps in order to get to the place that you want to be tomorrow. So, as always, hope you have the rest of an I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Follow me on social media at Jennifer underscore Johnson underscore Janish, or Adored Salon, or adored underscore signature underscore hand tied underscore hair. Watch our reels so you can actually appreciate all the work that goes into them, as I just explained. And yeah, see you later.